Um, my friend's mom used to always say that the deer where we live are uglier than where she grew up at. And I always used to think that was so petty, because it kind of is. Like, they're just deer. But seeing the deer here in Oblivion kind of makes me get it, because they're so much more beautiful than they are in Skyrim. I still like the deer in Skyrim, though. I think they're pretty, and I like Skyrim. I love Skyrim. Skyrim is my comfort game. I think it's absolutely magical. So magical, I made a sloppy video just pouring my heart out for it. It's just that special to me. I've never really played the original Oblivion. I did the starting dungeon, left into this world, I died again, and then I died some more, and by then it was getting really late, and I need to get better at recognizing when I'm tired. So I go to bed, and I never really returned. I just never really felt that magical quality that I did in Skyrim, but now it's remastered, and it looks great. It's beautiful, but it still looks whimsical. Like, these cats look like cartoonish lions, and the elves are ugly. It's perfect.
Lovely old stone buildings, and the harbor at sunset is beautiful.
The characters are less dirty than the harsh lands of Skyrim, but this is the Imperial City after all. But they still have that unique look that I just adore. I like when video games look like video games, and when they have character to their style. I like when things look like art. Starfield made me worried that Bethesda was going to give in to demands and scrub away their unique visuals and style to appease the plastic crowd. This remaster has given me a spark of hope that they won't lose their personality. Not much has changed from those couple times I played Oblivion. I left the dungeon, I died a bunch, I thought about Skyrim, I died some more, and then by then it was getting really late, so I turned the game off. The only difference is, this time, I'm gonna come back to it. There's something magical here. That same magic I feel when I play Skyrim. I can see that now. Browsing my options in the character creator, there was just something about the Breton that was just calling to me. And the default Breton kind of looks like Waitress from Always Sunny, so I picked her, I named her Waitress, and I began my adventure. Crawling through the dungeon, I was getting annihilated by some rat, and I couldn't figure out the controls, so I was hopping around to dodge this one rat until I could figure out what buttons did what. And this is what I find fun about these games' combat. Sword don't swing good because it's not just about swinging your sword. The level designers put this crashed pillar here for you to climb on it. It's about that. It's about summoning a skeleton. I love conjuring in these games. I love my skeleton. I love this dude. He dies really fast, but he does so much damage that he's been getting me out of every sticky situation I've been in. And then he will scream a war cry after laying waste to his enemies. He's badass. I love him. He has changed my playstyle into something I would have never expected. My character is naturally good with magic, kind of good with bows, and horrendous with melee weapons. And she barely has any health too, so I was dying a lot. My skeleton helped, but he was brittle, and if I was up close, when his bones rattled to the floor, it was almost always a death sentence. So I had to keep pulling out the bow. And I wanted to use melee weapons. I had classed as a sorcerer because Battle Mage is the best class in everything. But I was having so much fun with the bow, and I wasn't even playing it in a boring way. Hot take, I think Stealth Archer sucks. I think it's so boring. And I think the only reason that people really gravitate towards it is because they are technically avoiding the combat. And they avoid the combat because when they do engage with it, they play it in the most boring way possible. And then they'll sit and have arguments about if the developers objectively intend for you to use the environment instead of just using it. Like, you guys, this is single player Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, you are supposed to be creative with the combat. And don't get me wrong, there needs to be more of this. I've seen those Dark Messiah clips where the enemies like slip on ice, and it's great. I want more of that. But people don't even use what's here. If you drop the pretentious nonsense and lighten up a little and step into the fun zone, fun you will find. And this action bow playstyle is new to me. I don't play this way in Skyrim because it's not fun there how it is here. I pretty much just use bows to fight dragons. But here I was, jumping around, hiding behind things, getting up close, running around, mixing in spells, tricking enemies into things like traps, or there was this one guard I ran up to and he fought the bandits for me and killed him. It was awesome. And I even got super lucky with a witch goblin and she zapped her ally. In Oblivion, I'm playing with a bow the way I would play Skyrim with a sword. And then once I got to choosing my birth sign, I picked, I want to say it's called Mara's Gift, because it had this spell to help against the undead. And I picked it because I got wrecked by the zombie from the starting dungeon. And this is what I like about how these games handle role-playing.
But ultimately, it's not our story, it's the story you create.
People forget that about Bethesda's games, and they give the wrong advice, and I worry Bethesda's listening. Because now they seem to be more focused on providing more dialogue options, but what makes role-playing fun in their games isn't what you say.
Sure.
It's what you do. It's the stories and the characters you create based on how your adventure unfolds. Actions speak louder than words. The only other game I've played that does as good of a job at this as Bethesda's games was XCOM 2. It's not about having a Perception 7 speech check. It's about... I love knocking things over in these games. And I picked up this vase to tip these books over, and apparently it doesn't work how it does in Skyrim, and everyone thought I was trying to steal it. And so now... I'm a criminal. I got arrested and I went from this dive bar out in the woods to the heart of the city. And then there was this chest in the guard tower that had two-handed weapons, and I really wanted to try a two-handed weapons. And you can cast spells with two-handed weapons, and I hate that Skyrim changed this. Because it sucks flipping back and forth from healing to two-handing, drawing your weapon every time. And just let me use one-handed spells, even if it's only things like buffs and healing. So now I'm exploring the city, and I hear behind the door the wailing of Nirnroot. And out of curiosity, I crack open a lock I shouldn't. And now I'm arrested again. And I haven't even had the chance to use my two-handed weapons. So I break into the evidence room to get them back. And then I stop into some inn, and there's this basement, and I just really want to know what's in there. So I break in there, and I check someone's pockets while they sleep, and again, it works different than how it does in Skyrim. I didn't even take anything, but they noticed, and so I ran. I can't go to jail again. I have stolen weapons I want to use. So I flee the city. And outside there's a stable, and there's just this beautiful black stallion. And I'm already on the run. I might as well add another crime to the list. I was not intending to become a thief, and I'm so excited to play more and find out who my character is going to become. Will she give in to her villainous ways? Will she be redeemed? Will she become bored after saving the world and want to be reminded of the thrill of a life of crime? Will she take it too far, and next time someone's sleeping, instead of picking their pockets, she'll just slit their throat to find out what this dark brotherhood is all about? This is what's fun about how Bethesda handles role-playing. People say, oh, this is just Oblivion, but you can play Skyrim this way too. People, or maybe just critics, forgot that. They forgot to have fun. They forgot to turn around and come back later. They forgot to use their imagination. These games give you the foundation, a very strong foundation, and a bunch of fun materials and tools to make something out of it. And I get that style of game isn't for everyone, but I love it. If you lack so much imagination that you'll play these games in a dry, linear way just to call them shallow, I don't really care. That sounds like a personal problem, a skill issue, not a flaw with the game. You're playing it wrong. I know people are worried about the state of Bethesda's games. I get it. They made a bad game and a boring game back to back. Those games didn't land because they sanded off the edges. They are too preoccupied with listening to bad criticism that they lost focus on what made their games special to begin with. I hope this remaster reminds both Bethesda and the audience how they should approach their games, because there is room to add and improve to this approach they have to role-playing. More can be done with it, but nothing will be done with it if people keep telling Bethesda that they would rather roleplay with their words.
Still no news out of
Hi there.
Elsewell since everybody
What's new with
vanished.
you?
Strange.
Over their actions. I think this sucks. These games aren't shallow. You are.
Really enjoy this whole hero thing, don't you? Everybody fawning all over you. I'm not like that.
Speaking of shallow, I like the dungeons in Skyrim. I like the subtle variations. I like that if I go in a cave, I know it will be relatively short. I love the loop of the shortcuts. It just feels better. Doing what feels better isn't dumbing it down. It's the same as editing something until it feels right. And I like the Nordic ruins. I like the Draugr. I find everything about it comforting. In Oblivion, I don't know what to expect. And I get why people might prefer that. I just personally don't. There just ain't no rhythm the way there is in Skyrim. And I personally rather keep up with that rhythm. When I'm done with a dungeon, I want to be done. I need the fresh air. I need to get out of here. I start to get anxiety and I begin to feel warm and frustrated, and I even like getting lost in games. I like the mental map of games like Hollow Knight. It's just, I can't stand it in dungeons. So I can make the mental map. I can get out of here just fine eventually. I can poke my nose in every corner and go, oh, there's that corner, there's that trap I ran into 3 times already by now, there's that dead imp over there, and there's this other corner, and I'm like, okay, I can figure this out. But the time it takes solving that, I'm trapped like a rat, and I need to get out of here. It's just stressful in a way I hate. Oblivion's dungeons are like, is this over? Or did I miss a door? I like saying, yay, I'm done, and I grab my treasure and I bail. I don't give a rat's ass about realism in these games. I want adventure time. I want moments like me and this little crab chilling by the fire for just a little bit, and he just wants to chill before battling to the death, for it's a fight he knows he will not win. And so I take his meat. When I stopped being vegan, within that same month or so, I bought a live crab and I cooked him. Time to buck up. If I'm gonna eat it, I should be able to end its life so that it may nourish mine. But there are special moments about the dungeons in Oblivion that are lacking in Skyrim. Small stuff like pushing these planks, or really cool stuff like this bridge collapsing. This really got me. I was playing with a friend watching, and we were chatting about how fun of a dungeon this is, and I made some comment to my friend, and I was like, Todd knows what's good. And right as I said that, this bridge just falls, and we started hollering and shouting about how awesome this is. Skyrim's dungeons are missing this quality. I think Skyrim's dungeons are more unique than people recognize, but the special factor Oblivion has is absent in Skyrim. And Oblivion's caves and dungeons are not perfect either. Like, that plank gimmick is used and then immediately reused in the next room. So far, I still prefer Skyrim's dungeons and caves. I also think finding them is more enjoyable. But I do hope they can find a way to blend the best of both worlds. Because I need to get the hell out of this cave. I need to go roam around this world. I want to jump around the nature because it's so much fun. I love jumping in these games. And I love the clairvoyant spell to guide the way. I love how they changed this spell. This spell sucks in Skyrim. But here it's so whimsical, like chasing a fairy. There is this book that my mom had that I have always been obsessed with. It is called Good Fairies, Bad Fairies, and I love this thing, and I would highly recommend getting a copy. It is so fun and creative, and that book has always made me want to chase fairies in the woods, and this is exactly how I imagined it. I love this spell. Has this always been here, or is this new? Because I can't find footage of anyone using it. Did it not exist, or did people just not use it? I'm also now realizing I probably could have used this spell to guide me out of the dungeon, but that's my point. I didn't think of it because I was too busy having a panic attack. In this wretched modern world, it can be easy to get anxious, easy to feel depressed. You need to get away. These games offer that. I think they're magical. I think these games save lives. And saying that makes you feel like such a loser. But it's true. You probably hold one of these 3 games very dear to your heart. They probably got you through some harsh winters. I know they have done that for me. And you can have your preference. So far, my favorite is still Skyrim. I like playing as God. I like the unique variety the dragon powers provide. I like the setting more. I like the exploration more. I like the movement more. Playing Oblivion, I move up a hill and I slog up it like I would in real life. And at first I think, hey, that's really cool. But after a moment, that pathetic feeling sinks in. I could go on a walk in real life. I can feel the gravity from the planet that we share as I dredge up a hill and realize I'm out of shape. I can do that, like, for real. But then sometimes I do go for a walk, and some fucking homeless tweaker starts screaming at me. And It takes my mind to some really bad places. Sometimes I need to get away from this world. I need a break. I need to be frolicking amongst virtual flowers. And at least here in Tamriel, when some transient begins to scream at me, I can just light him on fire.